Welcome to Ordinary to Badass, episode number 350. This is day 10 of 12. Now, we have had so much goodness up until this point. I am excited for you to hear the remaining days because you are a total badass. And we need to remind ourselves of this. It's not something that comes natural or something that we know to do. So if you're following along, even if you haven't done the 9 days before this, jump in on day 10. Write down all the things that make you a badass. Ordinarytobadass.com/12 is where you can find your companion journal. I just know this is going to have a huge impact on you. So don't walk, run, grab your companion journal. And with that, let's get to the episode.
Be confident, be bold, be authentic, but don't forget to take action. This is Ordinary to Badass, where our stories empower women to step into the spotlight of their own lives and pursue what they're truly passionate about. It's time to step into the arena and become more than just extraordinary. It's time to become a badass with your host, Marie Sonneman.
Welcome to Ordinary to Badass. Whether you're ordinary or badass, we are so glad you're here. Man, you've made it to day 10. That just shows what a badass you are. You're here, you're listening today, and you're intentional about your badassery. Not everybody is. Actually, probably most people are not. But unless you really look at it and dive in, it's so easy to have all these hidden badasses, right? Walking around not even recognizing ourselves as a badass. So it's so important that you're here today, that you're diving in and really writing it down. I've said it before, but every single time that you write this down, it cements it a little bit more in your brain, which is so important. So now I want you to think back. What are challenging times that you faced? What are moments in your life that felt where you felt the most challenged, but you pushed through it anyway? Even if you don't feel like you pushed through it, you did because you're here listening to this podcast today. It might not have been easy. It probably didn't feel good. It seems like it never feels good at the time. And then it's like looking back, like, oh, yeah, I did that. I went through that. I overcame that. So think of different examples, maybe times that you were in debt or you went through a divorce. Maybe your children were having behavior issues, and that was stressful time, right? Because you didn't know, like you're at your wit's end, like, what else do I do? Or you had a loved one with health issues. All of those things are challenging. And then you could have more than one of those things at a time, right? A kid with behavior issues, and you're going through financial struggles, or you lose your job, your spouse loses their job, whatever. It is a lot. So I want you to just take time, write all those things down because it's really important to look back on those. And then sometimes you're like, oh, wow, I had this tough time, this tough time, this tough time. Maybe you even had to take care of elderly parents, right? There's a lot going on in our lives and it can be stressful. But the crazy thing is, those challenging times usually teach us a lot about ourselves. When you're climbing a mountain, you don't get the good views, or even if you're just on a hike, right? Usually you don't get the good views until you're at the top. That's what makes the climb worth it. That's what makes like the sweat, the tears, like you get so frustrated or like, I want to quit, I want to stop this, but yet you started it. So it's like, I gotta finish this or I gotta see that view. And so you dredge through all of this like painful stuff, all of the hard stuff to get to the good stuff. And that's kind of like when you're going through challenging times. Once you go through it, you realize like, oh, wait, I got grit. I'm stronger than I thought I was. And it kind of makes you feel like, oh yeah, like give you a little bit of swagger, right? Because you got this. You got the challenging times that have already come your way, which helps to like, oh, then I can do that in the future too. If I've done that before, I can do that again. So I'll tell you one of my challenging times was when I trained for my first marathon. I was not a runner. I did not consider myself a runner at all. And this was so far out of my norm, so far out of my wheelhouse. It was scary. Like, can I do this? So it was hard. It was not me. You know, before I ran the marathon, I had never run any other race. I probably hadn't run more than 2 miles, maybe three, maybe three. I wasn't a runner. And then after doing it, I found out like, oh, I suck at running no matter what, the first 2 to 3 miles. It's just dreadful for me. And then after that, then I start to hit my stride. But if you never push past that 2 or 3 miles, then you don't ever hit your stride. At least that's my situation or my experience. But a lot of other people, maybe they feel differently or it's a different time till they hit their stride, right? But here's the thing, when I was training for that marathon, I got to 15 miles on my own and I was crying. And at this time in my life, I was not a crier. So I was like, where are the tears coming from? But after the 15 miles, it was so stinking hard. I just didn't know what to do. And I didn't know if this was this hard, how in the world am I going to get through the 24 or the 26.2 miles? How could I possibly do a full marathon if I could barely do 15 miles? And I just broke down crying, right? So in my mind, that was so hard, but I got through it. A matter of fact, you know what I did is I sought support. Somebody else from high school that I was friends with in high school, and I hadn't stayed in touch with him. We were Facebook friends, but we didn't really talk or anything. So I reached out to him because I saw he ran a marathon and I asked for support. I asked for advice. Like, oh, I hadn't been drinking any water or taking any supplements or eating anything on the 15 miles. I just went based on pure will. And I didn't realize that was a thing. You have to refuel. So I got support from other people and it helped me along the way. It pushed me to get to the 26.2 miles. So the next time I'm going through a hard time, it's like, oh, maybe you're struggling in silence. Is there somebody you can reach out to for help? So that past lesson about the challenging times is teaching me something about the future. But also, it helped me to realize, like, if I'm not a runner and I ran a marathon, if I'm not a runner and I ran a marathon, what else can I do? So if you are going through a challenging time, ask yourself, what is this here to teach me? What can I learn from this? And if you didn't ask yourself that about past challenging times, you can look at your past circumstance. Like I can look at that time where I ran the marathon or the time where I ran the 15 miles and started crying. Like, what did I learn from that? I learned I can ask for help. Sometimes you need to ask for help instead of powering through it. So look at the lessons that these things are teaching you. Okay, we are going to wrap up here. I hope that you're writing these things down, and I'm sure it's having a huge impact on you. And every day of the 12 days, you're getting more and more confident. Okay, with that, we'll end our show. Tell the badass women out there staying in the arena, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, own it and get after it.
Now that you've listened to this episode of Ordinary to Badass, we want to hear from you. Go to our website, ordinarytobadass.com/podcast, and submit your own experience on how you took your life from ordinary to badass and get the chance to be on a future Spotlight episode of the show. That's ordinarytobadass.com/podcast. While you're waiting for the next episode of the show, wipe off the sweat, dust off the dirt, and get back in the arena.